India, the largest democracy in the world. The country is contemplating bringing in a law that will ban cryptocurrencies. The bill is supposed to be one of the world's strictest policies against cryptocurrencies.
It's arguably the most popular digital currency right now. Should you invest in it? Perhaps not if you're in India. The government of India could ban it.
It will criminalize the possession, issuance, mining, trading and transferring of crypto assets. It will impact 10 million Indians, including this 16-year-old.
मेरा नाम सचिन है, तो अभी तो मैं 12th क्लास में पढ़ रहा हूँ। तो 12th के बाद अभी मुझे बैंकिंग में जाना है। मतलब अभी जो मैं नॉर्मल बैंक में जाता हूँ ना, तो उनके मैनेजर ज़्यादा अच्छे होते हैं उनके स्टाफ से, तो मुझे मैनेजर ही बनना है बैंक का।
Sachin Kumar comes from a humble background. He lives in a slum in New Delhi, but believes the internet and his smartphone can be his ticket to success. Believe it or not, he is a crypto miner. When more than 99% of India is still unable to decide what to make of cryptocurrencies, this teenager is busy mining cryptocurrency. He has also invested a small amount of money in the crypto market. Sachin believes this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him.
जब मैंने स्टार्टिंग में देखा था तो मैं वैसे ही नॉर्मल यूट्यूब चलाता हूँ, तो मैं यूट्यूब चला रहा था। तो फैक्ट टेक है एक यूट्यूब चैनल जिस पे मतलब उन्होंने बताया था कि बिटकॉइन की अभी वैल्यू इतनी बढ़ रही है और ये ऐसे ऐसे काम करता है। पहले तो उसके बारे में बताया कि ये कैसे काम करता है, ये ब्लॉकचेन में काम करता है और ये बहुत सिक्योर है, मतलब इसको हैक नहीं कर सकता कोई ईजीली। तो मतलब इसमें जो हम इन्वेस्टमेंट करेंगे वो सिक्योर रहेगी। मैंने क्या किया कि एक दिन मैंने ऐसे ही इसमें सोचा कि थोड़ा सा इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, तो मैंने पापा के बैंक में से 500 रुपये निकाले और उसको मैंने इन्वेस्ट कर दिया सीधा 500।
तो पापा से पूछ के लगाया था कि बिना पूछे?
बिना पूछे।
तो फिर क्या हुआ, पापा को पता चला?
पापा को अभी तक नहीं पता।
The truth is, the world is changing and so is the future of money. For now, if you want, you can touch, feel and even smell the money you own. But will this change radically in the near future? India and the world are looking for the answers. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Cardano, Polkadot, Stellar, Chainlink. Is dollars, pounds, euros, yen, yuan or rupees? The answer is complex. World leaders and governments are yet to decide the fate of the future currency. But can they do something about it?
Sanity always takes over. When you understand the power of a technology and you understand there is nothing you can literally do to ban the technology itself, and you can only ban the the systems around it. Eventually you would rather like to go for a sane approach wherein you regulate that technology.
He calls himself India's crypto man on Twitter. Suvit Kalra is a crypto enthusiast and a blockchain expert. He thinks there is unnecessary skepticism about virtual currencies in India. According to him, the need of the hour is regulation, not prohibition.
I understand. See, the government's point of view also I understand. See, that is the whole reason that governments will have to become more proactive. They will have to become more fair. They will have to become more transparent themselves. They will have to be the ones who are going to scream out loud saying we are for the innovation. It's the other way happening. They are screaming out loud, we want to ban it.
The overall number of COVID-19 cases has surpassed the grim milestone of 120 million. The virus has killed more than 2.65 million people across the world. And despite the vaccine drives, the pandemic is still raging. It has wreaked economic devastation. Millions of jobs have been taken away. COVID-19 is taking a toll on people's mental health. After the recession of 2008, the world economy has been battered again. Many are still wondering what recovery could look like. In a frantic bid to save the American economy, last year the Central Bank of the United States, the Federal Reserve System, printed a little over $3 trillion. Over a 3.5-month period, the Feds created dollars from scratch at an unprecedented rate. It's not happening in the US alone. Governments and central banks globally are printing and distributing extra money to prop up the economy. But have you ever wondered what happens if they print too much money?
65% of global debt has been created in the last 12 years. That means, we're living in a debt-based monetary system for the last 100 years. Every dollar creation, which is a debt creation, because this is a creation of money by which, you take from the bank. You put your house or your car or whatever as mortgage and you take the money out. So it's a debt. All this debt used to create GDP growth. But because technology is deflationary, and also that for the last 15 odd years, we've been almost living in a monetary zombie system where increasing of debt and increasing of dollar debt or dollar creation is not leading to further GDP growth. It's only spiraling the asset prices further. And COVID has further accelerated it. So basically what's going to happen, it's more like a soup. You never know when the soup is too hot to drink or too cold, but eventually you feel there is something wrong.
The existence of cryptocurrencies depend on a technology called blockchain. Blockchain is shorthand for a whole suite of distributed ledger technologies that can be programmed to record and track anything of value, from financial transactions to medical records or even land titles. You might be thinking we already have processes in place to track data, so what's so special about blockchain? Let's break down the reasons why blockchain technology stands to revolutionize the way we interact with each other. The first reason, the way it tracks and stores data. Blockchain stores information in batches called blocks. These blocks are linked together in a sequential way to form a continuous line. If you make a change to information recorded in a particular block, you don't rewrite it. Instead, the change is stored in a new block, showing that X changed to Y at a particular date and time. Sounds familiar? Well, that's because blockchain is based on an age-old method of the general financial ledger. It's a non-destructive way to track data changes over time. But unlike the traditional method that has the database stored on a single system, blockchain was designed to be decentralized and distributed across a large network of computers. This decentralization of information reduces the ability for data tampering and brings us to the second factor that makes blockchain unique: trust. Before a block can be added to the chain, a few things have to happen. First, a cryptographic puzzle must be solved, thus creating a block. The computer that solves the puzzle shares this solution with all the other computers on the network. This is called proof of work. Then the network will verify this proof of work, and if correct, the block will be added to the chain. Currently, while doing business with one another, we don't show the other person our financial or business records. Instead, we rely on trusted intermediaries, such as banks or lawyers. These intermediaries build trust between the parties and are able to verify information. But if the information is stored in a blockchain, these intermediaries are not required. The whole point of using a blockchain is to let users share valuable data in a tamper-proof way without any intermediaries. Bitcoin is just the first implemented example of a cryptocurrency. There are many more competing with it. Deepak Prashar is building his own blockchain with his partner Joan Banga in Idaho, United States. He launched JD Coin in 2018. He believes cryptocurrencies are reshaping the financial industry as we speak.
Though I have kids, they are like a 25, 26-year-old. So they are also they are investing without even letting me know that. So when your own kids, they are investing into something, and this is like a ringing bell type of thing in my mind, that we need to really do something and open something like this, which is going to be tomorrow we can compare ourselves in the world, that we are also with the smart money.
Crypto has been the word of the moment in the investing world for the last few years or so. But the cryptocurrencies also creates a wide array of concerns. Investors worry that it could be a bubble, a risky investment, or even be susceptible to fraud.
That is the more important thing. The government is more worried about the common man. But Bitcoin, in my opinion, has gained a lot of prominence. It's a $1 trillion pristine asset now. I'm sure it's stuck around 2009 to 2013 ka jo period tha. It's also stuck around 2020 crash. So I'm sure it's here to stay.
Anything that is uncertain, anything that you do not understand, inspires a little bit of a fear. So I think it is a very, very logical human emotion that we are talking about here. For two parts. One, it's one of the highest end technologies known to technology itself, to mankind. It's extremely high end by today's standards and by the future standards as well. Two, people do not know the new model because people are trying to replicate the model of a fiat currency with a private currency, which is the cryptocurrency based on a technology that they don't understand. Now put them together, so it's more like a barter with a very private way of exchange of value, and hence a man on the street does not really understand those things, and there's so much of fluctuation. They do not understand why it fluctuates, why it goes up, why it comes down. There's the compliance part of it. In India there is no compliance as we speak.
Cryptos are what internet was to the people in the 1990s. Young guns like Sachin are willing to do their own research, hoping to make a quick buck. The complex activity of mining involves using the processing power of computers to solve complex mathematical problems and verify cryptocurrency transactions, and the miners are then rewarded with a small amount of cryptocurrency. The world's most prominent miners do this with thousands of heavily powered computers. Sachin is doing it on his phone. However, his earnings are just a fraction of what the bigger miners get after investing millions in setting up the system.
माइनिंग का मतलब तो यही होता है छोटा सा कि जो हमारा कंप्यूटर है उसका प्रोसेस यूज़ करता है सिर्फ माइनिंग. हाँ, प्रोसेसर यूज़ करता है माइनिंग के लिए. उसका प्रोसेसर अच्छा होना चाहिए, और अगर कंप्यूटर यूज़ कर रहे तो उसमें ग्राफिक्स कार्ड यूज़ होना चाहिए. मतलब कि बहुत सारे ग्राफिक्स कार्ड को हम इकट्ठा करके माइनिंग कर सकते हैं. मतलब कि जितना अच्छा प्रोसेसर होगा उतनी जल्दी हम वो कैलकुलेशन को सॉल्व कर सकते हैं. तो जितनी जल्दी कैलकुलेशन सॉल्व होगी उतनी जल्दी हमें बिटकॉइन मिलेगा.
The Indian government has tabled the Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2021 in the Parliament. In December 2013, India's central bank, the Reserve Bank of India, had cautioned users about the risks of virtual currencies for the very first time. In 2018, it had banned banks from processing transactions relating to cryptocurrency. However, the Supreme Court, India's top court, had lifted the ban with a judgment dated March 4, 2020. Since then, cryptocurrency has been operating in the country. Now the government is edging towards imposing a blanket ban on cryptocurrency trading, mining, and investments. But many experts believe the change is inevitable, and one day the whole world would have to adapt.
One thing that's been pretty interesting is that the Bitcoin demand actually is pretty uniform across the country. So even though we're here in New York City, we have customers in South Dakota, Virginia, Connecticut, all over the place. And I think that really speaks to the breadth and the demand for new financial services and innovation, things like Bitcoin.
There's various factors that are driving that growth. Number one is just the general interest in cryptocurrency. As you've probably noticed, the price of Bitcoin has skyrocketed the past few months.
Blockchains are meant to be irrefutable truth. You cannot alter transactions in the blockchain. Imagine if within the next 2 years we come up with a digital rupee and everything, birth registries, land registries, agricultural stamp marking, supply chain benchmarking, everything comes on the blockchain. It's not 2 years, but it's maybe a long journey, maybe 10, 15 years. It's going to kill corruption, it's going to bring it down to 0%. Imagine. It's such a beautiful future that you're going to say, okay, great, blockchain is a blessing in disguise.
The Reserve Bank of India also suggested that it plans to bring a digital version of the Indian rupee and was exploring the possibility as to whether there was a need for a digital version of fiat currency, and in case there was, then how to operationalize it. India isn't the only country to consider the possibility of launching its own cryptocurrency. In the last year, over 60 countries have experimented with national digital currencies. This included nations like Sweden, Ecuador, Singapore, Venezuela, Tunisia, and Senegal. China too began the development of a national digital currency in 2014, shortly after Bitcoin gained attention in the country. So, where are cryptocurrencies headed? Will they actually start dominating our lives in the future?
I'm traveling around the world. I can use it in different countries regardless of going through the hassle that I have to exchange the currency and all that.
I just have some friends that have invested in them and know stuff about them. And I don't know anyone who's against it.
It really depends. I'm not sure if it's actually going to replace paper money. Maybe eventually down the road if it gets enough traction.
Money becomes obsolete, we'll be slowly drifting into the cryptocurrency.
If I can find the right person to tutor me within regarding that, yes, I would, because I think it will be the way of the future.
I do think it is a risk, but just like with anything,
Cryptocurrencies may have spurred scores of rags to riches stories, but they have also given a platform for scammers to dupe unsuspecting buyers and investors. Reports of hackings at several exchanges have exposed the risks attached to such investments. There are also growing concerns about money laundering and the use of crypto money to fund illegal activities on the dark web.
There are examples. It is like nuclear power. You can use it as a power plant and supply electricity to the entire nation at a very decent cost, or you can make nuclear weapons and fire away at other people and bully other nations. It's just like that. It's a technology. Blockchain and bitcoins don't know what to do. It is you and me who do whatever we wish to do with it. And some people do the wrong things. They do illegal things. Then we have examples in ISIS, in Iran, that are
centralized network. You just go to, check out the block. You can see which person has mined which block, which pool is mined which block, which transfers are going to which address. You can track those addresses with the IP address. You can track the person down.
Every government in the world wants to go cashless. Cash is untraceable. It's easily transportable. Nobody knows where that dollar has been and how it's been moved from hand to hand. Cryptocurrencies are shifting that paradigm. Experts say it doesn't really matter how people perceive the crypto market. The genie is out of the bottle. According to the Bank for International Settlements, 80% of central banks around the world are experimenting with it.
Banks always want more power. If you are in their position, what would you want? You already have a lot of power. Would you want to give it away to the internet? Would you want to? So they want the same thing. It's simple, basic human emotion. Something that you already have, you don't want to give it away to somebody else or the internet. So they will obviously, they will first they've already tried to sham it, saying it's a scam. Slowly and gradually, they are changing their dialogue or, their thought process, and then now their, comments on the media. Now in 2020, after COVID, it's accelerated. Now they're showing ground actions by creating crypto research or crypto divisions or crypto trading or crypto custody, crypto brokerage, arms within their ranks. I'm talking about the smart banks, the really smart banks. Some of the banks are still sleeping. Eventually, you will see all of these banks becoming on-ramps and off-ramps to the crypto universe. This is the eventuality.
There has to be some certain level of self-regulation. And in this industry, since it deals with something so dangerous that can actually act as a private currency with no barriers and complete anonymity, for that reason, they cannot have they should not be given full autonomy or self-regulation. The larger part will have to come from the government. They will have to very clearly demarcate, what cryptocurrency. We have to clearly legally define the word cryptocurrency in India. Here we'll have to start from that part. 2, we will need forensics for every law enforcement agency at various levels, so that as we progress, you will see because cryptocurrency is something that rides on a blockchain. By itself, cryptocurrency is nothing. It rides on the technology of a blockchain. So in technical parlance, the forensic analysis of these things is called blockchain analysis. So the government needs to get that capability.
So what does the future hold for miners like Sachin? Is cryptocurrency going to level the playing field, allowing anyone with a cell phone to access financial services? Bitcoin and the blockchain behind it are incredibly powerful technologies that can be used to restructure the financial system. The nature of money has always evolved. Historically, precious metals were important as currency. This was followed by the era of paper money. And then we saw plastic money. Could we now be entering an age of decentralized digital money? Only time will tell.